Guys, please watch this video to the end because I think it's going to be one of the most important videos I've made. Now, you might have seen recently quantum is the talk of the town. IBM came out recently and posted, we're excited to share our plans for IBM Quantum Starling, expected to be the world's first large-scale fault-tolerant quantum computer. This new system to be delivered to clients in 2029, so very important, okay, we're going to come back to that, is expected to perform 20,000 times more operations than today's quantum computers. Okay, so this is absolutely huge, and I'm going to tell you the top 3 quantum projects that I'm invested in personally, and why I think they're going to do well, and why I think this industry is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And I'm not paid by these companies, right? This isn't sponsored. I'm genuinely aping a lot of my own personal money into these companies because I think it's going to be life-changing. So let's get into it. So I've been quite interested in quantum for some time now, and this is one of the kickbacks that we had, is that it wasn't very practical. There weren't very many use cases, or it wasn't going to be very usable. And I've talked about this in my Discord. I said keep an eye on D-Wave. Almost free money on our first stocks play. So we were buying these back in January. They just sold their first supercomputer after everyone said that there will be no use case for many years. This also means that they are able to ship ready-to-go products, huge earning potentials as the world rushes into the possibilities. Most people aren't forward-thinking. They are focused on what's happening now, what quantum can do now, what it can't do now. In my opinion, quantum has the ability to outperform the recent AI cycle. By the time everyone is frothing at the mouth next cycle, it will be too late and likely another bubble will burst, okay? So it's a classic saying in investing, if you're not first, you're last. And a lot of people in investing, what I find they do is they look at what things can't do. They don't seem to be very forward thinking, and they always talk about earnings. I've seen people were talking about bad earnings for D-Wave when it was $6, right? When we were buying at $6, they were talking about the bad earnings, but they weren't looking at the potential in the space. And now it's 300% up from that bad earnings period, right? And they actually ended up getting some positive earnings for the first time in a long time. So yeah, I mean, look, I've also posted here, I wasn't fortunate enough to be first to electric cars, right? If you were early to Tesla, right? If you were buying Tesla down here, you made over 100x, okay? So you turned your $1,000 investment into $100,000. Maybe you went crazy and put $10,000 in, and you made $300,000 in return. Sorry, you put 10,000 in. If it done 100x, you made $1 million. So money makes money, and I am deploying quite a lot of money into quantum computing right now, and I do continue to plan to deploy every month, right? So long as the space is developing, I'm not really focused on earnings. I'm not expecting these companies to make huge earnings right now. Why? Because we're at the start of this demand, right? We're at the start of seeing what the potential is, how practical it's going to be, how is it going to be used. And we're going to come back to this because this changes the game. This one comment here changes the game for me personally, and it's why I've even decided to put more money into this sector. So this space is not gonna move overnight, right? Everyone's not gonna start making massive earnings overnight. It's gonna develop very fast. There's gonna be loads of new research and developments coming out, and we're gonna have to keep an eye on it as it goes. But this is what I love to invest in, right? This is why I got into Bitcoin as a speculative asset. We knew further down the line that institutions were likely going to have to adopt or miss this complete move, right? Because there's only a finite amount of Bitcoin. We know that it's more efficient and more effective than gold. You can take your Bitcoin anywhere. It's impenetrable. No one's been able to hack anyone's wallet. And I like to get into these things before they become mainstream, before there's an ETF, before the governments are trying to accumulate, etc. And if you're not first, you're last, right? And I think so many people, a lot of institutions won't buy quantum until the market caps are bigger. So first of all, that's a blessing. And a lot of inflows of money can come into projects further down the line, right? And this is what happened to Nvidia. the people who bought Nvidia early and actually took a risk and bought down here, I wish I'd have seen these buy signals back down here. The people who bought down here, made what? 1,000x, 500x. They completely changed their life. Even a 1K investment back down here, would have turned into something like $500,000, like $500,000. So, the risk reward for me is a no-brainer. Can I afford to lose $1,000? Yes, I can make it back on any side job. I could make $1,000 a month that I can put into all these different companies and projects, right? I don't really care if I lose $1,000. But the cool thing about this is that I can only lose $1,000 if I put it into, D-Wave or one of these quantum projects. But my upside is what? Potentially what happened to Nvidia, right? My upside could be 50,000, 100,000, 200,000. So you can only lose 100%, but you can make 10,000%. That's what I love about investing, and this is what I love about being early to some of these new narratives. And I think that's quite an important subject, right? Most of the money I've made, I've been investing for about 5 years now. Most of the money I've made has been being early to these narratives, being early to momentum plays, right? Crypto gaming, we could see that it was going to be huge. It was brand new. We were starting to get some interest, and then all of a sudden, the whole world was new about crypto gaming, and everyone was frothing at the mouth. And this is actually the time to take profits and get out, right? And we got in early. We sat patiently. We had to wait maybe 3 months, 4 months before we started to see this parabolic move to the upside. And this is where you go into that FOMO stage, and everyone's like, all of the companies are talking about it. All of the Web 2 companies, all the classic gaming companies started to get into crypto gaming, and how can we get involved? And the whole world were talking about it. People were buying houses off of playing crypto computer games. That often is the time to actually sell and get out. And sometimes it does make it over time, but more often than not, that's actually the peak of the bubble, and it tends to have a crash and pullback. The same with the metaverse. As soon as Facebook changed their name to Meta, like literally within hours, I saw the news and I went and bought loads of metaverse-based projects. All of the Web 2 companies started to get into metaverse. They started to buy Sandbox. Land in Sandbox must have went up like 20x, 30x. And I ended up selling my land. And, when everyone was talking about it, when everyone was getting into it, it happened to actually be the top again. Okay, so if you're not first, you're last. And the people who buy up here are the ones who end up getting wrecked. And the people who take risk down here sometimes are the ones that make money. Because I say sometimes because, hey, what if you buy the narrative and it fails and it flops, right? So you really do have to do your research into the sector. But it's things like this that make it less and less riskier. We now know one of the largest companies in the world is working on a ready-to-go product to ship in 2029. Now, a lot of smart people said that quantum won't be usable in the next 10 years. And now we're seeing IBM say they'll actually have a product that's ready to sell to clients within the next 4 years. Okay, so completely change in trajectory. And we can actually see huge volumes coming into quantum off the back of this news. And it's very recent. Like, this was literally the other week, guys, the 10th of June. That this came out, and I haven't seen too many people talking about it. It might feel like everyone knows about quantum, or we all know about quantum. We're literally nerds studying this stuff every single day, guys. We're really at the start of this game. When you zoom out, the market cap of some of these projects are like 5 billion market cap and 3 billion market cap. Like, to put that into perspective, some meme coins in crypto are bigger than this, right? And I think the entire meme coin market is bigger than the quantum computing market, and that is disgusting, because this could be $1 trillion industry, right? This could completely revolutionize the IT infrastructure. Every system might need to be replaced with some sort of quantum infrastructure, and it's smaller than the meme coin market cap. That's how early we are. I did actually post about this on my Twitter. I said if D-Wave reaches just 10% of Nvidia's market cap, it's a 100x. Okay, so 1K to 100K, just if it reaches 10%. Okay, and if it ever outperforms Nvidia, which obviously would be a massive feat, guys, I'm not saying it's going to do that, but if it ever did, it's 1,000x opportunity, $1,000 to $1 million, or $10,000 to $10 million. So huge opportunity here, guys. And I definitely want to be on the boat, especially when we're seeing stuff like this. And we're going to continue to see loads of upgrades and developments. And notice how they said it's expected to perform 20,000 more operations than today's quantum computers. So the FUD we had around quantum is that, it can only do these certain processes, right? This is my main play here, and this is why I think this could be even bigger than the Nvidia play. They said that it can only do so many processes. It can only do this, so it can only be utilized for this, right? A lot of negative people who aren't able to, forward think, and that was the main FUD around quantum. They have said they expect 20,000 times more operations today. This isn't in a year or 2 years, right? So you can imagine how this is going to scale. Clearly, there has been a breakthrough in the development and the way and the functionality of the quantum processors. And this is massive, because this is the main play I see here. What happens when they are able to connect quantum processing, because we know it's already processing, 1 trillion times faster than our fastest computers right now. What happens when they're able to connect quantum to AI? It's going to revolutionize AI. It's going to revolutionize the world. There is going to be a race to build these quantum computers, because imagine the processing power that AI is required by AI right now. Imagine quantum is able to do that, in the speeds that we've seen quantum processing. So, you click a button on a video processor and on an AI video, and it's done before you've even let go of the button, right? You ask ChatGPT to do a task, and the data is there before you've even let go of the button. Like, that's how fast quantum could be. And imagine they are able to connect this into AI. AI is going to grow so much faster. The training, the models they use to train on, are going to be done almost simultaneously. The potential is phenomenal. And imagine the race, because we know the race around AI, and we know how every company is investing billions of dollars into, improving their AI infrastructure and, the research and development. And we're seeing all these chip factories being made. Imagine once quantum is able to fuel AI, we're going to see the same race and rush and interest that we've seen in Nvidia chips for quantum processing. And maybe we're going to see quantum factories. Maybe it's all going to be streamlined. Maybe everything's going to get smaller. And then it's a potential global addressable market that could have trillions and trillions of dollars coming into it. And I feel so blessed, because these opportunities don't come very often, right? Imagine electric cars was a no-brainer. I wish I was an investor back when we had electric cars, especially when countries come out and said, look, we're going to ban fuel cars. Spotify, I'm in the music industry, so I know Spotify was a no-brainer. People are able to stream any music they want for next to nothing compared to how it costs traditionally. And no-brainer for me. Quantum, absolute no-brainer. It's especially now when we see that they are starting to have these breakthroughs in the operations that they're able to carry out. And we keep seeing new news, right? In the Ministry of Defense come out and posted, India takes a quantum leap in secure communication, successfully demonstrated quantum entanglement-based free space quantum secure communication over 1 km. So it's not just AI that quantum is able to do. We're going to see this in the military sectors, in the defense sectors. There's so many different sectors, in space, in travel, in communications, in security. It's so many different sectors that this applies to. The main one I'm going for is AI, right? Because we know there's a massive AI race, and everyone wants to speed up the processing and reduce the costs of AI compute power. But the defense is a massive market too, right? And this could be huge for defense, for security. It's just a beautiful play. It's a beautiful play. I mean, not financial advice, guys. Obviously, do your own research. Investing in anything is highly risky, and you can always lose your money investing in anything. I just think we have the perfect setup with this right now. Even BlackRock came out and issued a warning about quantum, right? Now, BlackRock are accumulating loads of Bitcoin, and this might even be a disclaimer for them, but they clearly must be scared to buy all this Bitcoin and then issue a warning about quantum. The world's largest asset manager warns quantum tech could undermine the viability of Bitcoin's cryptographic systems, other digital assets, however, in quantum, So basically, guys, you can read this if you want, but they basically put out a warning that it could potentially be a threat to Bitcoin system. And I think Bitcoin is going to have to change the system. The miners are going to have to vote to change the system, because I think it's going to be a problem sooner rather than later. And I think this space is going to move very fast. As we've seen, IBM have clearly had a breakthrough in these processing, and it won't just be IBM, right? All of the other companies will also be learning how those systems are working. That's a massive company, so you can imagine that word of mouth is going around, and I don't think it's surprising that shortly after, we've seen India have a breakthrough here as well. So how many more breakthroughs are we going to start seeing as this tech is clearly starting to grow? So let's get into some of the picks that I've got down. So the first pick, so I've posted here, this was back in the 9th of January. Okay, so we're always looking at narratives, and we're always kind of trying to be early to these narratives. So this was like 6 months ago now. But if you want to see my posts and sort of the quantum projects I'm buying, or stocks that I'm invested in, or narratives that I'm interested in, you can go over to my X account. Okay, so head over to my X channel here, and you can join the Patreon here. So here's my link to join the Patreon, and that gives you access to the Discord, where you can see all of my posts, you can see all of my calls, my leverage trades. We've got a very advanced Discord here. We're even tracking on-chain smart money wallets. So when people buy or transfer tokens, we can see in real time what the smart money are doing, what the insiders are doing, and we can go and actually look at those investments. And we can look at the DEX flows, so we can see where all the interest is. Game has a DEX outflow of $599,000, 5 times the recent average, which means that all of a sudden there was an interest in Game. So I'd go into Game. Why are they buying? Is there some news? What do they know? So it's a really, really cool way to track on-chain transactions. So yeah, let's get into the buy alerts. So I think I have just got rid of that screen. Let me see if I can go back here. Should be able to go back. Here we go. So side quest, I'm starting to DCA dollar cost average into D-Wave. Now guys, why am I dollar cost averaging first of all? Well, nobody knows if the market is going to go up or down right now. There is a war kicking off with Israel and Iran. We have rallied in the S&P massively. So I just follow the best investors in the world, and most of them have said, hey, dollar cost average is king, right? And if the market goes down, it could be volatile. This quantum space could be very volatile. It doesn't have to go up only, right? It can come down 50%. It can go up 300%. So I'm just going to dollar cost average in slowly, month after month, and just build a position. But don't forget, the market caps are very, very small, and this can run away at any time, especially as we get more and more of these news developments, and the dates are confirmed that it might be sooner, that we see a massive wave of ready-to-go products. Okay, so I've already talked about the sector, so we'll skip this bit. But why quantum computing? We're on the brink of a technological revolution, similar to the microprocessor boom of the 70s and 80s. Just as microprocessors revolutionized every industry, quantum computing promises to completely redesign modern technology. Recent breakthroughs like Google's Willow quantum chip, okay, so we know that Google are also working on their own chip, which, could go viral once we see some developments there, show progress is solving insanely complex problems in minutes. Problems that today's fastest supercomputers would take 10 septillion years to complete. And to put that into perspective, that is longer than the universe has ever been around, okay? So an insanely fast amount of time that can't even be described, really. Current picks, okay? So here are my current picks that I am bagging up, or have bagged up and continue to bag up. So the first one is D-Wave, which is QBTS. We got into this around $6.10. I think the price today is around $16, so it's done pretty well. The first commercial quantum computing company since 2011. And a pioneer in quantum annealing technology. Okay, so there's different types of technology, and D-Wave focused specifically on annealing technology. And I wanted to have exposure to that specific technology, and there is a lot of interest around that, and some of the product companies do different things. Okay, so are they going to grow into covering all of it? Maybe in the future, but I want to kind of cover all bases, and I want to diversify. I don't want to go all into one company, even if it is the favorite. I want to diversify because you don't know how demanding the other kind of technologies are going to be as we go into a sort of quantum adoption. Expanded into cloud services and major commercial partnerships, making it a key industry player. Long-term speculative play poised to benefit as the technology matures. The next one was Rigetti. Okay, so RGTI, Rigetti Computing. We got this around $10. I think it's about $12 now, so it hasn't really moved that much so far, guys. So pretty low market cap. Still focused on superconducting quantum processors and cloud-based solutions. A top innovator in quantum hardware and has scalable potential. Long-term potential, but still burning cash, like many were in these early stage companies. Okay, so you might see a lot of FUD about these companies are burning cash and there's not much interest. Guys, look at the size of the market that we've just talked about in this video. Who is not going to provide these companies with cash if it's going to potentially revolutionize the defense sector, the AI sector? There is going to be an abundance of interest if it could potentially revolutionize the world, right? So I'm not focused on cash. People are going to talk about their burning cash. People are going to talk about their bad earnings. There is not going to be, in my opinion, a struggle here for interest and support and funding from a lot of tech companies, especially companies who have just made 1,500% on Nvidia in a few years. Hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars was made. I don't think there's going to be any issues here. Regardless of earnings and cash flow, I think these companies will see huge funding and inflows from the top, similar to how we see OpenAI get sniped up in the AI boom. We might even see some of these companies get bought outright or partnered up. Next up on the list, IonQ. So we got this around 30.25. I think it's about 37 now, so it hasn't really moved too far either from where we got in, guys. Leading the charge with general purpose trapped ion quantum computers. Okay, so there's all different types of processing, and these guys have a very unique style or business model that focuses on trapped ion quantum computers. Now, I'm not claiming to be an expert, and this is very, very complicated in the way that these work, but I am trying to study this, and I would encourage you guys go out and study why and how these quantum computers work, because then we can really understand, who's going to be building the chips, who's going to be the next Nvidia. Maybe it's Rigetti, right, with their superconducting quantum processors. Who's going to be building the infrastructure, who's going to be, building the brains. Maybe it's going to be D-Wave. And it's about trying to cover every sector, right? And who's going to be providing the energy to this is another conversation as well. Leading in charge with general purpose trapped ion quantum, notable for high fidelity quantum gates and enterprise grade systems, solid partnerships, and high scalability potential. There is so much more retail buying stocks after the GameStop saga, so we're seeing massive inflows of retail right now, guys. This pump in the S&P at the moment is predominantly being retail, and I think a lot of smart money are starting to realize that retail are actually becoming very, very smart. They were buying the dip, they were buying the crash when there was a lot of institutions were shorting and Trump was on the news saying tariff. It was actually retail who were buying the dip all the way up, there is so many retail that are coming in now, and I think it's about understanding. Are retail going to be able to understand this? I think it's very easy for them to understand, right? It's not that complicated. They've just seen Nvidia absolutely skyrocket. They know the power of AI is huge. They know that quantum processing might enhance AI, by infinite amounts. And, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that a lot of the money could flow down from these huge market caps into quantum, right? Because if you've just been on this roller coaster and you see another potential roller coaster come in, is money going to trickle down from Nvidia, right, and into some of these quantum projects? I think retail will be able to understand it, and I think we're going to see a lot of inflows from institutions who will obviously understand it, and from retail alike. So what else did I post here? There is so much retail buying stocks. I think we'll also see a lot of institutions flooding into quantum, just like AI this cycle. But I think we'll see a much bigger than AI. Quantum will train and speed up AI, and AI will also improve quantum. So don't forget, quantum could really, improve the speed and the functionality quantum could speed up AI, and then AI is going to be so much faster and smarter, and it's going to be able to train on so many more models, and it's going to be able to research and study so much faster, potentially. And it's going to accelerate both, right? They're both going to accelerate each other. And maybe AI is the one who is actually programming quantum in the future and designing quantum systems in the future that maybe we haven't even thought of, right? There's AI right now who are designing planes, and an AI system actually designed a plane that's much more efficient, that's much safer than we have ever been able to design. And they're actually now working on building these planes that AI has designed. And they ran tests on its flight. It takes off easier, there's less weight, it crashes better, it takes impact better. It pretty much worked better in every single way. And our best engineers were baffled by how that plane was constructed, right? On the inside, the plane looks like the inside of the infrastructure is like a cobweb. It's been designed very strangely, but when they actually run the test, they were like, wow, AI really gets physics. It really understands physics because it's done this so that if it does crash, it does this, and when it takes off, it does this, and they're learning, right? Our smartest engineers are learning from AI. So, don't underestimate AI and how it's very deterministic. So quantum is quite deterministic. So it's going to be able to potentially improve it, tenfold. Quantum will be used to create new security infrastructures. So that's a sector that I'm really interested in. And we know defense and military defense is a very important sector, and we might see a lot of government money coming into quantum as well. Maybe we'll see military interest, a whole new IT infrastructure, so many possibilities. That's what I love about this sector. There's so many possibilities, and we're pretty much at day one, right? A lot of people, I see someone commented saying, D-Wave has pumped. Let me just bring this up here. Someone commented saying D-Wave is pumped. I'm going to wait for a crash. I'm going to wait for a pullback. But you do realize that there was people back here who were waiting for a pullback or a crash, and then it just skyrocketed. The inflows are clearly wild here, right? We've had a buy signal from the SMC bot. By the way, you get the SMC bot with my Patreon if you want this bot. We've had a buy signal from the SMC bot, and we don't have any sell signals here right now. The SMC moving average is creeping up, and this is going to be a major level of support. Okay, so I would be very surprised if we did break below this level, but more often than not, it actually acts as the bounce range. The volume is crazy. We keep seeing high volume come in. Here, huge volume here. Even more volume was coming in than we saw on the Google News, right? Recently, we had more volume on the Google News, and we didn't see it on the news. So this says to me that they are accumulating, guys. They are accumulating these quantum projects. They want these things to fly under the radar whilst they accumulate. We know BlackRock have started accumulating some of these quantum projects as well. So I feel like we're very, very fortunate, and I don't really want to be swing trading at such small market caps, right? I don't want to be taking profit, because imagine if I'd have taken profits here and waited for a dip, I would have missed out on this massive, massive move to the upside. And I don't know if we're going to see another one of these legs to the upside, right? And that would absolutely kill me if, I'm waiting for a pullback here and it's $15 and then all of a sudden it's $30. Because I have massive conviction in this, I'm happy just to accumulate and buy for years, right? Hopefully, if it doesn't escape velocity, right? But if it pushes up to $100, completely different story. The returns become, very, very different. And institutions, of course, will be looking for 10x, 20x. That's fine. But, because we're so early, I think when we zoom out eventually, these are the targets we're hoping for. I think when we zoom out, we're going to look back and go, wow, I can't believe I was debating buying at $16 or $20 and now it's $600, right? That's bull case. That's very bull case. I am very bullish on quantum, and sometimes if you do have conviction in something, you do need to be very bullish on it, right? I was very bullish on Solana. It went and done 10x this cycle. I was very bullish on Bitcoin. I was very bullish on Render. When I have conviction in something and I'm very bullish, I'm happy to hold, because the upside is absolutely life-changing. If these quantum plays play out, I'm going to make millions and millions and millions of pounds or dollars, and my downside is very small, right? As we talked about earlier, it's amounts I'm prepared to risk and prepared to trade with. So that's it for now, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Drop any, leave a comment for the algorithm. Press the bell notification button so you don't miss out on any of these videos, because I am going to be talking about other quantum projects that I'm investing in, other quantum projects that I'm looking at and I'm interested in. Drop comments below of quantum projects that you're interested in, maybe you want me to research and look into, and what you think about the space as a whole. And yeah, if you want to join us and you want to get involved and you want to come in the Discord, you want to see all our leverage trades, we have a professional leverage trader here as well who also gives leverage trades. And we're trading stocks, we're trading crypto. Then you can join in. And obviously, we're using the SMC bot as well for these buy and sell signals, they're pretty good. They're pretty accurate. I mean, we were using it on Sui for quite a while, and we took this buy signal down here. And it absolutely printed. It went all the way up to like $5 from 80 cents. We took this sell signal here, so we took profits on our buy because we bought spot and leverage. Sorry, I didn't actually leverage. I bought spot here, but I did leverage short this. So I did take a short leverage and I did sell my spot. And, it completely dumped. And then we got back in and we took some positions down here. So, yeah, it's been really, really good, this SMC bot. It's really useful. It's not going to be right all the time, but it kind of snaps you out of that. Up here, everyone was like, Sui's going to $10. It's going to be amazing. This is usually the time to actually take profits, right? And it can sometimes be a bit of a mental game. Because your social media is so bullish and everyone's so upside, and then actually you're at the start of the downside, and just like down here, everyone gets bearish and everyone's like, oh, Sui's finished, this bull run's over, and then you get these buy signal from the bot, and it's like, hey, the momentum's shifting here, things are starting to change. It's getting a bit choppy now, and obviously we're going into a war. There's a war with Israel and Iran, and there's a lot of speculation about what's going on with rates, and inflation might go higher over the next few months. So it's choppy. So, it's not always going to be right, but hey, it's going to help you sort of snap out of this bullish and bearish momentum. Just like me, I already took profits on this push to the upside, right? I think we got in around here and I already took profits, and now it's already starting to come back down again, and we are starting to get these sell signals. So, yeah, pretty good tool to use for Confluence. Don't forget to head over to my X, follow my Twitter, and join the Patreon if you want to get involved with us. Until then, I will catch you guys in the next one.